Well, hello and welcome to week 9 of pack 9 of the Cigar Professor. We have a bit of a monster on our hands tonight. Now, this is actually all at once a brand new stick and a familiar stick for us. This is, of course, the big brother, the larger version of the exact same blend that we smoked as our very first cigar ever in the Cigar Professor, week 1, pack 1. And this is, of course, the Ave Maria Immaculata. We had it in the Robusto in week 1. This is the Bellicoso, a little bit bigger. Wonderful mix of this Ecuadorian Connecticut Shade wrapper. Now, they were a real highlight of the first pack and the third pack. We really deeply explored the Ecuadorian Connecticut wrappers. We'll talk a little bit about why they're so special. This is blended with Nicaraguan filler by AJ Fernandez, I want to say. But you know what? Who'll correct me if I'm wrong? I might be having a brain fart. Oh, hang on. Before I bring anyone else on, I want to draw your attention to the bottom of the screen where you'll see now that the computer, AI, like, chat GPT and all that sort of stuff, AI knows everything and is never wrong. And what it's actually done is it's created subheadings for each of us. So you can see there, Topher Field. Totally awesome dude. I mean, that wasn't, I didn't say that. That wasn't me. That was the AI. Okay. Completely the AI has completely got me pegged there. Now I want to bring on Professor Damo. He can tell us a bit more about the AI's got you pegged too. Oh man, that's brutal, dude. That's brutal. You know what I'm wondering now? Hang on, let's find out. Oh yeah. No, this AI thing is wrong. You cannot argue with the results, mate. That's incredible. Also, Omar, thanks for starting without us yet again.
Oh, boys. I just had to do some patch-up work today. Ooh. It was a fair bit of damage on this cigar.
Okay. You know what? That actually makes me feel better.
You're not supposed to chew on your cigars.
I was going to have a bit of a whinge about just a little tiny fleck of the wrapper missing there. So, Damo, you've been offloading all the crappy sticks onto your fellow cigar professors, have you?
Possibly.
I guess that's good news because it means the subscribers must have got the good ones. Look, the reality.
Well, there's no other choice because there's 0 in stock.
Oh, right. We literally were down to our absolute last.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Omar got the absolute last, obviously. Now.
Actually, I think I might have even had to dig into my own personal stash to get them done. Look at the nice little bit of yellow hue to the cellophane, though.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful. A year in your care. Any idea how old they were before then?
Oh, they wouldn't have been more than 6 to 12 months in that ballpark.
Yeah. So these are somewhere between 18 months and 2 years old. Daniel says mine is Immaculata.
Very good.
Now, was I correct, Professor Damo, in my memory that it's AJ Fernandez has blended these?
Absolutely.
All Ave Maria is done
flawless
by him.
Memory.
Absolutely magnificent blend. There's a reason we had it first. And you know what I realized? For the remainder of this week, the Ave Maria Immaculata will be both the first and the last cigar of the Cigar Professor. Then, of course, we'll smoke something different next week. But for 1 week, it will be able to claim the absolute bookends of the Cigar Professor, first and last. And it's the only cigar that will ever be able to do it. You were all so impressed by that.
Absolutely. It left me speechless. It was that shocking.
It was a nice moment.
Don't usually do V-cut, but I'm done a V-cut today.
I've done a pair of straight cut.
Because everyone's been complaining I haven't been doing new things, last week I dusted off the cobwebs for my hot air gun. Now,
and it was fun.
Yep. And one of the things I've always wanted to try is, you see this?
No. Hang on.
It's one of those electric spark lighters.
Like a taser.
One of the interesting things is,
what?
Oh, wow.
Most of the spark igniters, the actual spark prongs are down in a little recess so that they're not sticking out, so you can't use it like a taser. I happen to find this one where they're actually sticking out. And the benefit with that is I theoretically should be able to light a cigar with it. It might take me a few years and I might just go and get my lighter out and use it. But I just thought, why not?
Give it a go.
Just for something
Daniel,
different.
Serves you right for that terrible, terrible joke you gave a second ago. This one here. Daniel says he's got a tight cold draw. Serves you right. Don't come to me for sympathy. We're all going to sit here and watch and see whether Damo actually... I'm skeptical, Damo. I've got to be honest. If you make this work, I will be impressed. I am very skeptical. Both that it will actually get hot enough
it
to
keeps
light...
timing out. It keeps turning off after a bit of time.
I just think it's not going to generate the heat because a spark isn't necessarily hot. It's a voltage. And, okay, the spark itself may have... Oh, you've got some smoke. All right, maybe you're going to prove me wrong here. I'm very skeptical. Nice ring right off the bat there. Thank you very much. Pat myself on the back for that one. Always nice when you get one right on the open. A little bit more full flavored, a little bit more of a complex set of flavors than what I remember the opening of the...
It's not staying lit anymore, so...
No, the
circuitry is getting so hot I can't hold it either. So,
well, my prediction was correct.
Look, it actually did char the end. Look, it's black. So it won't take much to get this to life. Anyway, it's done a good job just getting it charred.
I mean, we'll have to quiz Whiskey Pete. You know, when he talks about slower is better when you're lighting a cigar, how slow? Is there a cutoff? Like if you just sat there for like an hour with a little sparky thing, is that still improving the flavor, or at that point are we just wasting our time? Okay. So my recollection of the very first cigar in the Cigar Professor was the opening was bakery. This is a little more complex than that to me. This has
a little bit of sourness in there.
A little bit of sourness, and I'm just debating. It's not a marzipan sourness or a bitterness. It's a blanched almond. Hey,
yeah,
it's got to be user error.
The two big splits in there.
No, user error for sure. What is that?
Definitely almond, without a doubt.
Almond, no question. The bitterness could even be like that almond skin type of bitterness. But for me already, 2 puffs in, that sourness is already backed off.
You know, that little bit of sourness at the start, you know what it reminds me of? The citrus, the little pieces of citrus that are in like a hot cross bun. You know how some hot cross buns got little bits of citrus fleck in it?
Usually, isn't that usually an orange rind?
Yeah. So it's not very sour. It's just got a little hint of sourness there and a little bit of sweetness mixed in with that sort of bakery spice flavors as well.
Stuart's had to do some open heart surgery. So these might have... Well, actually, this is actually giving people insight into yet another one of the services that the Cigar Professor provides, and that is when we have spare sticks, we don't ship any that are even slightly damaged. We wear the cost on those, but when you're shipping down to your last cigar and beyond, you don't have that luxury. Indeed, Daniel, very wise. Wow, no reaction at all from either of them. Cold. I thought it was funny, Daniel. I thought it was funny.
Trying to pick up the tasting note. I'm sorry, I'm a man. I can't do two things at once.
Okay, well, where I'm at is that sourness has faded incredibly quickly. And I'm actually back somewhere closer to where I remember the Ave Maria Robusto, the Immaculata Robusto being not the full-on fresh bread. We're not quite there, but we are in that range of baked goods, like almost like a ginger nut cookie, not overwhelmingly gingery.
Oh. What's that? That Italian dark brown baked,
Like
airy, fluffy cake thing that they have at Christmas time.
Oh, goodness. That's very specific. I don't know.
Omar, do you know what I'm talking about?
Negative.
The shops usually sell them in like a plastic domed container. And it's an Italian. Sometimes you can get them plain. Sometimes I'll have ones with like raisins in it, but it's got a very deep baked brown coating on it, and the inside's very fluffy, almost croissant-like.
Daniel Moore is our go-to guy for baked goods. Come on, Daniel, don't let us down now.
Anyway, the bakery tastes like that. It's almost like a little bit like a pretzel bakery. You know when they blanch the bread in caustic soda?
No.
Okay, so for pretzel, and I think also this Italian thing that I'm thinking of, they actually like literally boiling caustic soda solution. They dip it in for a brief moment, pull it out, and then they bake it, and it gives it that really deep, rich outside layer on it.
Yeah.
So
I can't help but notice the AI is actually watching the show in real time. It's just going to be updating the descriptions for each of us as it observes our behavior and learns more about us. It's just quite an amazing technology.
That's the one.
Or as Stuart prefers to call it.
That's it. That's the flavor I'm getting.
Wow. Well, Daniel is absolutely on the ball. Yeah, the nutmeg. Actually, I hadn't isolated that, but now that you mention it, that's quite clear for me.
Mm.
Mm. Few rings in this one already. Not all of them good, but they're there. Now, I don't mean to alarm anyone, but you might notice that something has changed about my background.
Yeah.
Shelves are empty.
Getting that way. Things are being emptied. Going into boxes or bins, depending on whether I'm keeping or turfing. We've got the move date set for the 10th of March.
Very good.
So basically a month away.
There's almost a little bit of a unsweet licorice note in there as well, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting. That sourness faded very quickly. But I see what you mean. It's a little bit fennel, a little bit, just a little bit. Stuart, don't pretend that Tim's not sitting there in your lap. You guys are almost as close as Omar and Cigar Man Sam. Well played, Tim.
Funny guy.
Just resharpening my knives after. Hang on. So you're literally okay. I don't know how I feel, but this is a bit creepy and weird. You're sitting here watching a show with us, sitting here smoking cigars, and you're just like sharpening your knives, like slasher movie style, just watching us.
Yeah,
that's a little bit.
He wants to get it shaving sharp and just reach out and give Omar a trim.
Lovely burn on mine. How's yours going, Omar, with those splits that it started with? Is it correcting?
It's slightly correcting.
That looks pretty good given what it was.
Yeah, it's gonna fall soon because that's just right on the splits now.
Yeah, right.
I think the smoke production will get better in a minute.
Smoke production for me has been good. Been good.
Mine's a little light on in the smoke production for me.
Okay. How's your draw?
Draw is good.
It's not. Mine's a little snug, but not. I've had far worse than this, so.
Yeah, my draw's good, burns good, smoke's good, life's good. Until I found out that Tim was just sitting there watching us and sharpening his knives. That's just.
I think that's a noble thing to be doing. The only thing that would be better than that would be polishing the guns.
Oh, you mean like Stuart just finished doing?
Good man. Every time I go off on a hunting trip, everyone is dumbfounded how much time I spend cleaning my guns.
Mm.
It's therapeutic. The only thing is I don't generally smoke a cigar because the flammable solvent doesn't go well with the lit cigar.
It's an interesting point.
Nor the taste of a cigar and the solvent getting drawn through it.
Yeah. Mind you, that'd be an interesting way to try and light a cigar, just a shotgun, dragon's breath round or something with a lot of over powder burn coming out the barrel.
Yeah.
See if you can do it without losing a finger. Tim says he really enjoys sharpening his knives because the wife hates the sound of the knives on the stone. That's a good reason to do it. So, man, Sam, how are you?
Hey, Sam.
What are you smoking tonight?
Let us know, Sam.
Hey, Sam, check your phone. I sent you some messages during the week.
Very nice smoke.
Isn't it?
Very nice smoke, I think.
I don't feel the need to pull it apart, to pick it apart and chase every flavor. It's full and it's satisfying.
I think 99.9% of the time with the cigar smokers, aficionados, you don't really have to be momentarily go for every smoke change by the moment. It just takes it away from the actual enjoyment.
Yeah.
You just got to enjoy it as it comes in. Be chilled about it.
There's a bit of a honeysuckle scent on the foot smoke as well, which is quite pleasant. It's quite a soft, mild foot smoke. Well, talking of cigars, since we're all speechless.
Oh, yes. You have my attention.
A preview of the next pack.
Nice.
We have your favorite.
Yes, I have waited so long
So Romeo and Julieta wide Churchill.
To have one of those in a pack.
Followed by a Romeo and Julieta short Churchill.
Nice.
And Romeo and Juliet number 4.
So this is a Romeo and Juliet sort of sample pack. Now, have we actually officially confirmed with everyone watching that we are moving to a once-a-month format? Did we kind of officially?
We did do that, yes.
We talked about the fact that it was looking that way. But if you haven't heard,
it's official now.
It's official. We're moving to a once-a-month hearth, and packs going forward will have 3 cigars, which will make them cheaper. You'll be pleased to know, but of course, smoking less often. And we thought because pack number 2, if you'll recall, was an all-Cuban pack, but trying to get 13 Cuban cigars, for the sort of budget that we had back then, which was even less than what we have now, that was a task. And we ended up with a bit of a hit and miss experience with that pack 2. So we thought we'd take the opportunity to revisit Cuban cigars and do it in style this time. So those are 3 really good quality, really reliable, not always perfect, but comparatively really reliable cigars that we should all be able to enjoy.
Iced Vovo.
I don't even know what that is.
You know the Arnott's Iced Vovo biscuits? They're the ones that have got the pink
coconut?
marshmallow and the coconut on top.
Yeah, vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, it's not the coconut, but definitely the biscuit and the marshmallow at the moment for me.
Yeah, right. Okay.
It's just become really sweet.
Stuart, how many times have I told you I don't want pictures of your cigar holes? Yep, sorry. I missed the word cigar. I'll have a look. Tim's a fan of the once a month.
But being that we're going once a month, I did make the executive decision that what we will do is we'll go for a slightly more up budget cigar each month as well.
Yeah, like the White Churchill.
Yeah, and what this is going to do is down the track, we'll also be able to explore some Churchills and some other larger cigars or some more premium cigars as we go down the track in these things. So gives us a little bit more flexibility.
Yep, I like it. I think it's a good move. It makes sense. The world has changed since we started, so it makes sense for us to adapt.
Not to say the cigars we're smoking there aren't premium.
No. But nevertheless, there's a whole realm of cigars that we just can't touch because the budget is not there.
Mm.
A lot of good rings in this cigar.
I've noticed.
I'm enjoying it.
It's really nice.
It's good. See, I picked the one with the extra rings in it just for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Daniel, just because I'm out here fighting for progress, don't hate me. You should also have a look at everybody else's as well. Like I said, the AI never lies, okay?
Yeah.
Sourness is creeping back in. Subtle. Background flavor coming in sort of 5 seconds after you've exhaled. I would say still in that fruit rind range. In that the marmalade-y, you're right. What you called it earlier, Damo, and I think you're right. It's those specks of rind in a hot cross bun.
Yep.
I think that's exactly what it is.
I'm almost leaning towards that nutmeg is a bit more like allspice now.
Okay. Well, guys, that's harsh. I thought that was Damo.
You're taking over. I'm glad.
Someone's got to step up. I heard Nick was feeling lonely and Damo wasn't willing to jump on a plane, so we've got to keep the relationship somehow.
Yeah, I've been locked out of the country for years.
So, Stuart, I am wondering, are these two comments related to each other? Good plug for the glue. It's a good foreskin for big holes. And then got nuttiness. Were those two related? Not clear. Definitely, Daniel. Definitely. Update from Cigar Man Sam. I'm smoking a Monte Cristo Edmundo.
Nice.
Nice.
Very nice cigar.
Yeah, very, very nice.
Very nice cigar.
I was given one of those that was thoroughly abused by someone. It was like left on the back seat of a car for many, many months in the summer. I tried to recover it.
Oh.
And it didn't recover. It was still like smoking cardboard.
Yeah.
Definitely bingo words, Daniel. Definitely bingo words. Yeah, maybe what was that cartoon? Archer, I think it was, where it was just full of innuendo and he was always going, phrasing! Just because people were saying things and it just meant something different. Stuart, you should watch. Damn, that AI is good.
So if you're not a Mac bitch, what are you? Like an overall slut or something?
I'm a free man who makes my own IT decisions free of overpaying. That's it's got to be a good feeling for you both, mate. Good stalk. Good stalk.
Actually, I quite like the taste of chittle of all the deer. Actually, I like the heart from chittle as well. Sauteed up in a bit of butter. Very nice.
Stuart put new meaning to the phrase "have a heart." He was like, "Yes, I will."
It's a bit of a butteriness to it as well, to that bready pastry note for me.
I'm approaching the first band. I think I'm a bit ahead of you guys. Burn's still good.
Was it a buck or a doe, Tim?
Yeah, for sure, Chris. And
Yep.
one of the other upsides of us going to the once a month is that it's easier for us to facilitate new people coming in. We don't have to buy as many cigars on spec and hope that they sell. So, yeah, send us a message to the Facebook page. Let us know.
We probably should start getting a register for interest set up. Fair enough, Tim. Yeah, I'm not much of a trophy hunter at all. If I can't hunt for, except for vermin control, if I can't hunt for meat, I'm not interested really in taking it.
No.
I go away on a trip, I want to come back with, more value in meat in the freezer than what the trip cost me.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Actually, I had some of the deer I shot a while back the other day. It was absolutely gorgeous. Cooked it up.
The AI is not wrong. I do secretly want a Mac because I've always wondered what it would feel like to put a sledgehammer straight through the screen. One of those, like those all-in-one, Macs. So it's really picking up on my deepest desires. It's quite amazing. Yeah, it's good.
Definitely bolder than I remember. And that might be the fact that it was shoved on the same shelf next to the Room 101 Fast Lonsdales and the Alec Bradley Magic Toasts.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
So they've had a bit of influence on these. What else was on that shelf? The Rocky Patel, the little figurados we had.
Yep.
Them and also the Ave Maria Morningstar 5-packs. They were all together in that one spot. So
yeah, well, that would have influenced it somewhat.
Yeah, so a fair bit of Maduro wrapper floating around these, influencing it quite nicely.
It is nice. I've always thought of the Ave Maria Immaculata Robustos that we started with as great first-time cigars, which is why we had them when we did. This one, in this flavor profile, having been aged the way that you aged it, probably not quite so much. I'd probably be tending towards a Perdomo 10th or a Nub 354 or something like that.
True, but it's still mild enough that if a newbie got it, it wouldn't be totally off-putting.
No, there's nothing even remotely off-putting about it. In some senses, I feel like I wouldn't give it to a beginner, mostly because it'd be a bit wasted on them. They wouldn't appreciate what they've got their hands on.
Yep.
It is amazing how much you can, if you've got a collection, which, you know, Omar and I never seem to be able to put together a collection for strange reasons. But Damo, you manage to put together a collection, part for pleasure and part for business. And it's amazing how much tweaking you can do within your own collection. Just, you know, change what's next to what.
Well, I always say my favorite trick is to pack my Connecticut's in with my Maduros.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Omar does the same thing. It's just he has the Connecticut on this side of his mouth and the Maduro on that side. It's just a different approach to the same. Yeah.
I'm waiting to see him have one up each nostril as well as in the mouth.
That'd be good. How do you know I haven't tried yet?
No, I'm sure you have. Just seeing Tim's comment there. One of the most frustrating things that I've had with deer is the fact that I've had a lot of opportunity to shoot at one, but it's never been an opportunity that I've been willing to take because I've not been desperate for the food and it's not been in a situation where it's either been safe or ethical. So
Yeah.
I've seen more deer that I haven't been able to shoot than deer that I have been able to shoot.
It was very frustrating when I was in the reserves. They had a problem with really, really ill kangaroos. Basically, the Greenies campaigned for the army to stop culling kangaroos on army land, and Puckapunyal is where I spent most of my training. And so they did, but then all the local farmers in the area had all the kangaroos jumping off army land onto their property, and so they complained. And so then the army put up fences all the way around Puckapunyal, high enough that the kangaroos couldn't cross them. And so then all the kangaroos inside Pucka start inbreeding. I remember we were doing navigation exercises and we're covering long distances, crisscrossing Puckapunyal. And you'd see these kangaroos and they were like clearly like their sense of balance was off. Some of them couldn't bounce forwards. You know how supposedly kangaroos can't go backwards? Well, if you inbreed them enough, they can only go backwards. And they'd get stuck down the bottom of there's an area of Pucka that's quite flat and there's these little ravines because it can rain quite heavily sometimes. It just sort of washes out these creekways. And that's where the water is, down the bottom of those. And they'd get down there for water and they just couldn't get back out again. And so they'd live their life just following these creek lines backwards and forth. That was the only area they could get to. And so eventually, they had it all assessed and they were like, well, we've got to shoot them all because, we can't let them out. We can't keep them all in there inbreeding even more. We have to put them all down. And so the Greenies were all up in arms about the fact they're going to put down all these kangaroos because of a problem that they created in the first place. And so, of course, us army reservists, we were all jumping up and down like, we'll do it. Let us do fire and movement exercises on some kangaroos. But that was deemed to be inhumane. And believe it or not, the army paid for professional shooters to come in and cull kangaroos on army land, which just strikes me as the height of absurdity. But there it is.
Wouldn't you get the snipers in to do that?
Well, you'd think you'd just get the designated marksman in. Like, surely you could turn it into a training exercise.
Headshots only.
No, heart lung. Go for the chest. So Tim is trying to take credit for Stuart's kill here. Yes, Stuart, that's just because I'm really good, and honestly, because I know the property well. Well, probably you know the property well. That's probably true, but the other half. Richard, welcome.
Oh,
Opus X Lost City.
I like that stick. What Vitola have you got it in, Richard? I've actually got 5, I think, 5 at home. The little sample pack that came out many years ago.
I love the casualness of this. Now, Richard, for those that don't know him, he's a massive cigar guy, an absolute icon of the Australian cigar scene. And I love that he just throws the word "just" in there. Hey guys, just smoking an Opus X Lost City. like, oh yeah, this is just one of the ones I had lying. I just found it in the back of my humidor when I was fossicking around, you know. Like, that's a nice cigar. And Richard, thanks for sharing to all the groups. Appreciate it. Yeah, reshooting with tanks and 50 cal. That's where it's at. I kid you not, it was so bad. We'd be at the shooting range doing various, the set exercises you have to do, and you have to score above a certain amount to pass, blah, blah, and we're doing those. And part of the instructions on the range are, if wildlife jumps onto the range controller is going to call stop, and we all have to, clear the weapons and stop shooting. I'm like, are you serious? Like, we have a roo problem here. A roo jumping onto the range is probably not one of the smart ones. I'm just going to go out there and just say, look, it's probably not one of the ones that's healthy. It's probably one of the ones that's a little bit, Yeah. And we have to stop? Come on.
Yeah.
Smoking the Robusto. Got the sampler. Nice.
Nice.
So I lost the ash. Usually it'll get a little bit sharper, maybe a bit of pepper, a bit of spice will kick in. Nope. It is just carrying on like nothing happened.
Yeah. Mine one just dropped too, and
yeah.
It's good.
Daniel, shh. Don't point it out. His head won't fit into his hat anymore. Quick, I'll get rid of the comment while he's not looking.
What size? I'm just trying to look what size they put in the sampler pack again.
It's a little bit of a cocoa coming in for me. It's not a chocolate. It's a milky cocoa. It is like an actual hot cocoa drink.
The only addition to that is there's a bit of cedar in it, which makes it a little bit not so smoky, but on the minty side, I think there's like a cocoa / mintiness to it.
Okay.
Like a chocolatey mintiness to it kind of thing. Very creamy.
There's a twist. There's a twist on it.
Yeah.
Very creamy.
Very creamy.
But for me, for where my cigar is at, it's that cocoa has just become the new, not dominant in the sense of over the top of all the other flavors, but it's the newly arrived flavor. Yeah. And it's quite distinct.
I like the Toro in that. I'm pretty certain it's a Robusto, double Robusto, and Toro in the sampler pack you got there, Richard. And I definitely like the Toro.
Gonna let mine rest for a minute and see what that does. I've been probably just over smoking it a little bit.
Just gonna get mine a recut.
The beauty of a torpedo is that you can. Okay, Daniel was getting more of a coffee than a cocoa. Okay. That's the one I'm looking for. Were the girls proud when you told them you got a deer? I imagine they would have been. And I look forward to how you cook it up. Stuart, for those who don't know, is a bit of a weapon in the kitchen. And especially, believe it or not, with cake decorating.
He could make a deer cake shaped like a deer. And red velvet cake on the inside, brown icing on the out, cut into it.
heart-shaped red velvet, just right in the right spot. And instead of slicing it, they have to shoot it with one of those bugger salt fly-killing guns.
Load it, but instead of loading it with salt, you load it with hundreds and thousands.
Oh, I like it. I like it. I like where this is going.
I'm getting cedar on the foot smoke now too.
Yeah, it's more distinct on the foot smoke. I still haven't had a distinct cedar in the flavor, but on the foot smoke for sure.
Starting to get a little bit of the cedar coming through.
Yeah, cedar has been there. It's kind of staying.
Now that's where it's at. See, I told you, Stuart. It's a weapon with the cakes. I can make red jam ooze out upon cutting. Perfect. How to traumatize children in one birthday cake. Yeah, I've seen the ads. Sorry, you go.
Just wondering what you'd make the antlers out of, to which is edible.
I'll let Stuart come back to us on that.
Like violet crumble, chocolate coated honeycomb or something like that.
I'd seen the ads for the bugger salt and hadn't really been that interested. But a friend of mine recently got his hands on one at a mate's place, and he said he was just hooked. He spent 3 hours just walking around the house looking for flies. He just couldn't stop. He was absolutely addicted to it.
Got quite a few flies at the moment. Maybe I need to invest in one. Actually, in America now, they've come out with a revolver version.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it uses some sort of gas cartridges.
It's like CO2 cartridges.
Yeah, so you can.
Yeah.
Probably can't have those in this country. The bloody fun police.
Yeah. Well, as Tim says here, waiting for the New South Wales government to consider them illegal firearms.
Hey, the deer-shaped cake, you could actually also put chocolate bullets at the tail end, just sticking out.
I like it. Or maybe a chocolate bullet just located with like a few sprinklings of chocolate behind it, like in a cartoon showing motion, just sort of on its way in towards the chest cavity.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on whether it's a kid's birthday party or not, I guess.
Well, next time we have the in-life hearth, Stuart can bring that cake for us to share.
I like this one, Stuart. It could be the pink mist.
Yeah, what are you going to mount between the two chocolate rumbles, though? That's what I want to know.
That was coming for a while. That was a grand finale.
Where you go to the corner store and buy a picnic. You know those.
Oh yes.
Yeah. A couple of chocolate rumballs and a picnic.
There goes my ash. Not a bad piece, though.
Yeah, not bad. Well done. Got a lot of suggestions here coming in for the answer to what lies between the two rum balls. A cigar.
A Bruce
Bruce
bar.
bar. Tim is, of course, going for the anatomically correct version. A pink musk stick would look about right.
Yes. Well, actually, I was thinking if we want to really be correct, the antlers should be chocolate-coated musk sticks.
Ooh.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
You might be mad, but he's not wrong. So it strikes me that the most popular television show of all time, non-fiction television show of all time, featured three ugly men who tooled about in cars and insulted each other. That being, of course, Top Gear, the original British one.
Yeah,
of course.
Maybe we need to rename the show Top Leaf.
Yeah, Top Leaf. I'm just trying to say, well, look, their first season was a bit of a dud, and that's because they had a really bad presenter. They didn't have the right three people. I'm just saying, we've been going for 2.5 years now. We're not the world's biggest non-fiction show. So obviously we're doing something wrong because we've got the three ugly blokes. But I'm just starting to think that maybe one of us needs to be fired. Like that was the secret sauce, was they got rid of the dead wood and they brought in someone who was actually good, right, in their place. I'm not trying to start nothing, but
I think the constant crashing of cars was always and Richard Hammond almost killing himself on a regular basis was always pretty good.
Look, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It was always kind of tune in next week to see if Richard Hammond is still here. That was always kind of the excitement of the show. But I mean, you play with explosives.
What's he going to crash next?
You play with explosives all the time, but you're boring. You've got all your fingers, so it's just there's not enough risk.
Well, if I hurry up and get my pilot's license, I could be the James May of the show.
Oh yeah, Captain Slow, but this time it's talking about mental capacity. That makes sense. Yeah.
I'm the technical one, like James.
You were the technical one who couldn't get his microphone to work just before the show. We were 60 seconds out from starting the show, and Omar and I are both like looking to each other just fine, and Damo's sitting there like. And then this is the bit I love. He finally finds the correct button. It all starts working, and then he's like, "Oh, what did you do?" And we're like, "We didn't touch anything, mate." Oh, you.
Funny.
Oh, this is good. That's good. Have you seen their most recent specials of the Grand Tour?
Some of them.
It all went to pot. Obviously, COVID, they got shut down. They stopped producing, but they've done a couple of specials since then. And they just went up north recently. And one of them has a proper crash on camera. And like it's not like Richard Hammond, flipping the jolly drag car.
Oh, that's the one when they're in the tunnel and he gets all the way to the end. And yep.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that.
And you feel that one. Like it's not
He's like,
spectacular.
oh, that's going to hurt.
You know it hurt. I'm not going to give away who it was, but they have continued their crashy ways.
My all-time 2 favorite episodes when they tried to launch the Robin into space.
Yes,
that was fantastic.
That is one of the all-time great television moments.
And the other one when they drove to the North Pole in the red Hiluxes.
That was amazing. That was amazing. Funny how you remember the ones that drove, not the poor bloke that was hanging onto the back of a drug sled. They've done some great stuff. They're Namibia.
I was so much wanting to do the same mods to my Hilux after watching that episode. I'm like, yeah, but it just wouldn't be street legal, unfortunately. So
no. Tell you what,
I like the thing when he was drinking while they were driving, and James May corrected him on that, and he says, "Well, actually, we're out to sea, we're sailing, we're not driving." So they affectionately called it the HMAS. Oh, no, it was the HMS G&T. So
I don't remember that. Yeah, they've done some fun stuff.
How fast you have to go to outspeed a speed camera? That was good too. Apparently, need a dragster to do that.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
In excess of 300 k's an hour.
It was well in excess, yeah. And then the camera just didn't see him, just didn't click. A little bit wonky.
I think the biggest mistake they made was they sacked Jeremy Clarkson, whereas they should have sacked the guy he decked instead.
Look, Jeremy Clarkson's a knob, right? He is, but we all know that. No one's surprised,
and that's why we like it.
And that's why we watch the show.
Exactly.
So, yeah, yes. Well, there was a time, you go back to the 80s, you know, co-workers could have a biff, deck each other, and then have a beer afterwards and get over it. These days, someone's got to get fired.
And go through re-education.
Oh, yes, that's a terrifying word. Actually, this is a good point Stuart makes. Have you seen Clarkson's Farm?
I've seen the adverts for it, but I haven't watched any of the episodes yet.
It's like a 6-episode little thing that he did during COVID, and it's so funny. Like, he's hamming it up. He knows more than he lets on. He's not as much of an idiot as he lets on, but he's playing the idiot. He's playing the idiot abroad. You know that you remember that show? He's playing that kind of role on his own farm, and it's fun.
You seen the ads that he made for his beer? All the ads he wasn't allowed to air for his beer?
No, I don't think so.
They're on YouTube. Go look for the Clarkson's beer ads, and it's it's hilarious.
I love the fact that is that Clarkson's Farm number 2? Is that what you mean, Stuart? Season 2. Tim, thank you. It's high praise. You live on a farm, so you know what a knob looks like too. I love the fact that in Clarkson's Farm, without no spoilers, but he just keeps running into bureaucracy. And he kind of built that into the show because he hates bureaucracy. He hates bureaucrats and red tape and all that stuff. And so every time he ran into bureaucracy, he just, like, the whole episode would just end up being about that. It was so good.
I like the bollocks he gets away with his ruddy restaurant and council approvals, and I haven't seen the episodes, but I saw some news articles about how he was bloody playing council at their own game.
Well, it's a sport for him. He's got the money. He's got the money to be able to do it, and the personality just to be like, nah.
If I had the money, I would too.
Oh, tell you what. No, everyone's saying nice things about me.
Clarkson would make, I reckon, a pretty damn good British PM.
Better than most of the ones I've had recently, yeah.
You imagine that?
It is so good. It's so good.
EVs and caravans would be banned overnight.
Yeah. First order of business, cyclists would be banned.
Yes.
Cyclists.
Stuart, no spoilers. Caleb's a good character. I love the fence repair guy. We're still talking about Clarkson's farm. The guy that fixes the fences. So funny.
One of the South American countries, I can't remember which one it is now. Was it Brazil? They actually, because of all the what are they? The not the the muggings and the drive-by muggings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And hijackings. They basically made it legal for other motorists, if they see that taking place, that they can just plow them over with their vehicles. There's all this video footage now. I can't remember if it is Brazil, but one of those South American countries. There's all this video footage now of people like, these guys jumping off to swipe a handbag or wallet or sticking up someone on the side of the road, and his car just detours off and plows through them and just keeps driving. So I can see Clarkson doing something like that.
Isn't that why he always drives a Range Rover?
Yes.
Omar. Oh, wait, I don't have to. The AI already did
it. I saw that. Cigar has turned quite cedary and savory.
Savory, yeah. My burn's just gotten a bit wonky on me. Not enough to need a touch up, but I'm keeping an eye on it. Some really pronounced veins in the wrapper that might be the cause of it in my case.
So the 8th of March, which will be the last cigar of this pack, will be the last cigar in that house for you.
It will.
There we go.
And then it'll be a month before you see the new location.
So what are you going to do for the first cigar of the next pack?
Well, I'll be in a new location. What are you going to do for it?
We are going to have that in the last week of March, are we?
I assumed that we would start the monthly thing like a month after the last one in this pack.
Oh, okay.
We can do it in March, though. I'm not that fast. I mean, they're Romeo and Juliet. The sooner we smoke them, the better. They're great sticks.
I've had a step up in smoke production now too. Got a tiny little split.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Stuart sent me a picture earlier of a bit of a split that looked to me like it was a bit of stem in the filler that had got sort of twisted as they rolled it in. It was quite close to the wrapper and just created a bit of a bulge.
Smoke coming out that split too.
You're about to have some burn issues.
Oh, well.
Is it just me? Or have you powered through the middle of that cigar, Damo? Because you were behind me not long ago.
Yeah, it sort of sped up a bit, and I've noticed the smoke production's just increased a bit as well.
Okay. Maybe the cigar's sick of you. It's just like, let's get this over with.
Quite possibly.
Can't rule the possibility out. I am loving how many rings are in this cigar.
It got some rings.
It's got some rings.
Now, is it Daniel's birthday on the 8th of March?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Party on the 11th. Everyone's invited. Make your way to Albury. The whole town will be there. You don't need to know what the address is. Just follow all the cars.
Just look for the smoke.
Look for the smoke. So, Daniel, I hope you feel special. We organised a herf on your birthday.
That's right.
And then I've organised to move house the day before your birthday so that I can be there for your birthday. So, hope you feel special.
Hang on, I thought you said you're moving on the 10th.
Yeah, so his birthday party's the 11th.
Ah, right.
I tried to organise the move for the 11th so I'd have an excuse to miss his birthday party, but he caught me and I had to be like, oh, sorry, and be like, oh, no, we'll move it. So, yeah, sucks, but, you know.
But he is coming down and helping you move, is he not?
Well, there is that, I guess. Yeah, I mean, you know, I guess I shouldn't complain too loudly, should I?
No.
Yes, it did just arrive today, Daniel. Yep. Thank you. It's not at this computer. It's inside, so I can't show it to everyone. But yes, yep, it's true. It's true, Daniel. You do. What are we going to call ourselves? The Four Amigos? Daniel, Tim, Stuart, and me. Sorry, Omar and Damo. You don't get an invite.
Getting a bit of a straw note in this at the moment.
Mine's darker than that.
Yeah, definitely darker.
I mean, still the roasted nuts. I reckon there's still a hint of that cocoa in there. It's diminished, but it's still there. Yeah, I reckon I'm still in that sort of dark biscuit territory that you identified earlier, Damo. Oh, Stuart, your invite must still be in the mail along with all those checks from me. It's still in the mail. Still in the mail. Just, yeah, call the post office.
A little bit vegetative.
It's interesting because that little rind note has never quite gone away, but it has evolved. I had a bit of fennel at times, definitely that rind note. That was the most distinct, the clearest sort of vegetative, citrusy note that we've had. There is still something there. It's not a celery. It's too complex for that. Daniel. I figured Stuart would be here anyway if you came, Tim. Aren't you two attached at the hip? Well, look, all I'll say is I have hardly ever seen them not in the same place. Like,
hey, Daniel, you're still coming up for the 13th for the lecture conference thing?
He'll probably still be hungover from his birthday party.
No, this month, not next month.
Oh, okay. Hungover from pre-drinking for the birthday
Monday.
party.
It's Monday, isn't it? Yeah, it is, I think.
Yep, batten down the hatches. Daniel is inbound. Omar, has your microphone failed?
It did 5 times. Like Damo's.
It's because you both use Macs.
Yeah. I'm thinking about the cigar. I think the first and the second third was absolutely amazing, and it had a very abrupt sudden change towards that earthiness, darkness, and savoriness,
Okay.
which is not necessarily obviously a bad thing. There's no such thing as a bad thing in a cigar, but kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. And it feels warmer than it should be.
Yeah, interesting.
Mm.
The savoriness I agree with. The warmth, I'm not getting any warmth in the. You mean in the actual stick itself to your fingers?
Thick as well as the draw.
Yeah, not for me.
I think I would probably put the first third of this cigar probably phenomenal. I wouldn't put it under phenomenal. It was phenomenal. You guys were chatting and we're just saying, wow. Despite the top issue I had, it was like phenomenal.
Yeah, right.
It kind of continued along that and it then dropped in the final thing. Yeah.
I'm getting at the introduction of a little bit of pepper. I'm not getting temperature heat, but I'm just getting the first introduction of a bit of white pepper on the tip of the tongue.
Yeah.
Lovely smoke production all the way through. My burns corrected itself. Didn't have to do anything.
No.
I smoked through that split with no trouble.
No trouble at all, yeah.
Despite smoke coming out the split, but
who was that bloke years ago? Young guy down in Melbourne who posted a party at his house onto Facebook and forgot to make it private, like it was a public thing.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if it was thousands, but certainly hundreds of people showed up and the cops got involved. And who was that?
It was
Corey.
a known thing that happened a while.
Corey, that's who it was. We should do that for Daniel's party. We should all just like post up events and I'll send it out to my email list. Might have to get Daniel some ridiculously big sunglasses. Now, okay, I'm about to post a comment that is outrageous, but this is Daniel we're talking about here, so I reckon he's probably telling the truth. That's the story you're going to have to tell us at your party, Daniel.
you can tell it to all the thousands that turn up to yours.
I'll get that sound system that I had at one of the rallies in Melbourne that could be heard from over a kilometre away. We'll need it just to reach all the masses.
Imagine that.
There's actually, oh mate, you're not going to like this. There's hints of Cameroon in this. Keep in mind, I'm getting quite a distinct cocoa in there. It's not strong anymore, but it's still there. I'm getting that cocoa in the background. There's hints of Cameroon in this now for me. A little bit drier than what a Cameroon is. I agree with your comment, Omar, about being savory. But in the complexity and in some of the flavor, the profile, there's some Cameroon in this.
Well, the nub Cameroons were on the shelf below.
Look.
Ow. That just burnt me.
Yeah. More of a bolder Cameroon, more of a 79 type of Cameroon, rather than more of a, you know, sweeter profile Cameroon.
You're talking the Rocky Patel 79.
Yeah. I can see where you're coming from. I can see
that's a fair comparison, actually.
Yeah,
to the flavor profile now.
Yeah, it has that nuances of that. You could relate to that easily.
Tim, you're not wrong. Gavin, I wish there was a good story behind the hat comments with Damo, but you remember the Peanuts, that little sketch cartoon like Lucy and whatever he was, Charlie Brown, all the rest of it. You remember Linus? Linus had his security blanket, and he just couldn't be without his security blanket.
Yes.
Damo wears his security blanket on his head. You will never find him without that hat, right? Just, you know, he was telling me a story one time about a job he did disposing of a bunch of chemicals, and he got it horribly, horribly wrong and blew up, killed a whole bunch of wildlife, probably killed a couple of kids. The only thing he cared about was that it blew his hat off, and it took him a couple of minutes to find it. He's just like emotionally attached.
It's not just one hat, though.
Is that how you do it? Is that how you get them to not be all smelly and manky? You sleep in a different one to the one you wear during the day.
That's right. No, I've got my hard work hat, which is a leather one. I've got
You've
this
never
one,
worn that
which is
one.
an everyday hat. I've got my smart casual hat, and then I've got my formal dress hat. So
okay, well, here's the real question: which one of your hats is held together with fencing wire?
None of them.
Well, see, that's where Tim Molesworth's got you.
Hey, Gavin.
Wow, the AI got that one wrong. Let me just correct the AI here. That's sometimes you got to like nudge the AI in the right direction.
Who was it? There was a guy on Facebook posted a thing with ChatGPT today, and basically he told ChatGPT to, you know, be Ken, and Ken doesn't care about political correctness, and Ken's obnoxious, and Ken's this and Ken's that, and then he asked him all these questions, you know, these political correct questions, and he basically told it to give him the ChatGPT response, and then which is all the left-leaning woke responses, and then the Ken response, which is like it's all a load of crap. Global warming's a sham. It's just so we can transfer wealth and all that sort of stuff. We're spitting out.
And Gavin's got us pegged already. Damo in his shed, Topher in his office, Omar's in his bathroom.
This is the missus' warehouse. It's my dog house. I don't have a garage at home, so I come down to her warehouse when no one's here. Tell you what, there's more rings in this cigar than I think you've blown in the last 4 years, 2 years of
combined
cigar.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. I've had one or two good ones that have just shot, you know, halfway across the garage, which is nice. Most of them don't, but some of them do. Where are you guys up to? Yeah, we're an hour and 15 in already.
Yeah.
It's probably got, what, about 20 left, 15, 20 left in it?
Well, wait, you're going probably 10, but yeah, 15. Tim, I have a beautiful ring. Okay? You just have to get over it.
I've only shown my ring once on this show. That was last week at the 1 hour mark.
Yep, it's true. We marked it in our diaries. It was a day to
and it was an inadvertent display of a ring too, I can tell you.
Stuart, stop showing off. Nobody likes you.
Actually, Stuart should be teaching Omar how to smoke cigars, because then Omar could afford to smoke cigars then.
Now, see, Omar smoking cigars slowly is the equivalent of any of the rest of us going cold turkey.
Yeah, very cold turkey.
Like, I only had 6 today. Like, I'm shaking, you know.
So,
I am enjoying the aroma in the room. It's a nice, you know, we talk about sort of those cigars that are like a cigar. This is really carrying that for me, which brings me actually back to the comment you made, Omar, about the 1979, because that's the cigar that of all of them had the strongest sense of, wow, this is a cigar. And this is starting to carry that same sort of sense for me.
Don't get much aroma here with 8-meter high ceiling, unfortunately.
Well, you've got to do what Omar does.
I might have to climb the pallet racking and sit on the top pallet to enjoy that.
Get up there. Well, Omar has a ring of cigars just burning in little holders like this, like incense sticks around him. That's how he's able to sleep and get through, you know, a couple of hours of sleep without a cigar actually in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Best way to be.
Sometimes you got to be honest with people, Tim. That's where I learned to do smoke rings, Stuart. See, Top Gear never offered this experience of just being relentlessly insulted for an hour or so. You know, just like become a subscriber, pay us money, get cigars, and we'll insult you. Like free. Just like this free add-on that we give. Anyone that just shows up to one of the videos and just reads through the comments would just be so confused.
So as you know, I was in the next pack planning to put a Churchill, Romeo and Juliet Churchill, but apparently there is no production of Romeo and Juliet Churchills at the moment.
All right.
I would hazard to guess that there is supply issues, and obviously because the Churchill uses a lot more tobacco, they're not producing them and producing some of the smaller Vitolas instead.
Yeah. From a business point of view, that makes sense. We've got the short Churchill and the wide Churchill, so, you know, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arguably the best 2 anyway.
The short Churchill is a great smoke.
Yeah.
Wide Churchill's my favorite, but the short Churchill is a great smoke.
Great smoke, yeah.
Winston will have a Churchill on his 18th birthday. I can guarantee you that. If not before. This is actually, so there was that clear turning point. I agree with Omar on that. It turned savory, but for me, it's really settled since then. And it's just continued in that same vein. It hasn't gotten harsh. It hasn't done any of that. A little bit of pepper on the tongue. That's still there. but it just continues to be what for my money is just a really, really good cigar.
Look, at one point, I almost got over it in a sense that I said, what happened to the cigar? But that was very sort of momentarily a short couple of minutes or maybe 5 minutes thing.
Sure.
And obviously, it could have been just a bunch of stems came at the same place or the wrong time, which happened to individual cigars. That's why they're so different individually. But
Sure.
yes, it has settled since.
Yeah.
And has become very good.
Yeah. I will also agree with you, though, that first third was the highlight. That was the highlight without doubt, but this is very, very good.
Very good. I think for such a, which is kind of not, I wouldn't say normal. I mean, there's no such thing as normal or normality in cigars, but when you have a long cigar, the cigar doesn't show its depth or its true character until it hits the second third, because there's so much tobacco involved in that. It's kind of starting to burn, combustion and all that. By the time it hits middle third, that's where you get the real cigar. But this started with the bang and continued with awesomeness for like the whole that time, which is quite. I think it's very AJ Fernandez thing. Across the board, his cigars are very like that. They want to give you wow from the start.
All right, loaded question, because we have a Perdomo fanboy in our midst. Favorite blender? Because blenders work across a range of different brands. They have the ones they put their name to, and then they have the other ones where they're blending for other people or for other companies.
Yeah.
Favorite blender?
I think I get Damo go first if you want to. I have a very interesting answer to that, but
let me think about that one.
Yeah.
Historically speaking, the blender that won every competition in Cuba or in the traditional cigar was Don Pepin. Don Pepin won every single competition. Every time they had anything in Cuba, he won. And arguably, they say Don Pepin is a master of blending. There is no one, and I've seen his cigars, Father cigars, him doing stuff with other blenders, whether it's some of the Texan companies such as that one Damo really likes. What's that American guy who started Tatuaje? So he got introduced to Tatuaje. He worked with him for a number of years. And I think Don Pepin is up there. I would, if I have to pick a blender, that's Don Pepin. He's phenomenal knowledge and magical ability to, that's for me.
Now, this is, I was wondering whether this name was going to come up, and Cigar Man Sam has chimed in. Steve Saka.
Yeah.
He's got to be up there.
I was thinking about who, and I'd have to say, I'd probably say Steve Saka is one of my favorite blenders, just because he likes to do things his way, and he doesn't give a toss about whether you like it or not. If he likes it, he sells it. And he basically says, if you don't like it, don't buy it. There's plenty of other people that do and would rather buy it instead of you.
Yeah.
He actually says, I'd rather sell it to the people that like my cigars than those who are going to bitch about it. So,
if we were having this discussion 18 months ago, I would have gone into bat for Rocky Patel.
He's not a blender, though.
Well, okay.
He's not a traditional blender. He has blenders who work for him.
True. Yeah, I'm not even sure what my answer would be, to be honest.
As far as the institution, a whole entire organizational structure of cigar making is concerned, I think Plancicia made more blenders than anyone else. Even Oliva's grandfather learned off them. He was his first job with Plancicia. In addition to making cigar, people, blender, masses, I think they're up there. They're very much up there.
Well, sorry.
Sorry, just to finish off, I think also what Davidoff has done as an institution from perspective of an organization, they have done some wonderful work. They're just expensive for us to constantly go through. Living in Australia to get their sticks, get hold of that is up there as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, I absolutely adore Oliva, as you all know, Perdomo as well. But that's sort of in a slightly different category because these are companies that really focus on using their own tobaccos.
Yeah.
So they're really narrowing the range of what they have to choose from. Now, I think their products are fantastic.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put them in the same category as an AJ Fernandez or a Steve Saka. It's just a different thing.
Yeah.
Saka is.
Yeah.
Hey.
Annoying my tongue. Andy Garcia, since Richard was talking before about the Opus X Lost City, he's the one that blended the Opus X Lost City. Not Andy Garcia, Carlito Fuente, sorry.
Yeah, up there. Definitely.
That makes more sense.
Pull that out as well. Kind of look at this one, Damo.
Oh, wow. What are you guys doing to your cigars? You're supposed to smoke them, not dissect them.
Well, there's a moderate bit of stem there, you can see.
Oh, yeah, you could build a house out of that.
Yeah.
Well, it's now starting to feel warm to me, Omar.
Yeah.
And even then, not hot, just warm.
I would like to see the Opus X Lost City in a Churchill, though.
Well, I shared, not shared. We had one each. The Fuente Opus X Angels share. I had courtesy of Damo's private collection. I bought a 3-pack of those and gave one to Nigel Farage. Haven't spoken to him since, so I don't know if he's had it or what he thought of it. But to celebrate the arrival of my third child, had one myself and gave one to my father-in-law. And look, my father-in-law, his taste buds are, well, he puts chili on everything. He puts chili on his Weet-Bix in the morning. So his taste buds aren't necessarily the most refined that you can possibly imagine. But he enjoyed it. And I, absolutely loved that.
Was it mild or strong? Or I haven't had one, so... I was saving that pack for a special occasion, but I sold it to you instead.
Oh, well, I used it for a special occasion. So, no, it was firmly in the medium body, fairly complex. It was really nice. It just had this, it sat in a really nice place with, your mix of nuts. It was nice. A little bit of vegetation, a little bit of roastiness, which was really nice, and gave it that medium sort of profile. But it was just always sort of playing a little bit, not like some of the cigars we've had where every puff's a different flavor, but it played a little bit. There were just notes along the way that you could pick out for 2 or 3 puffs, and then they were gone. It was nice, and it burnt beautifully. Construction absolutely flawless. Just one of those cigars. It was perfect for the occasion because we just sat and we talked, and sat there for a good hour and probably hour and 40, I think, by the time it was all said and done.
Yep.
Maybe more. I don't really remember. It was nice. Sat up in the attic, had a view out over Melbourne.
I think the retail on those is about $100 a pop.
Strikes me as cheap for what they are.
Ooh. Just got some fruit. It's almost like apple skin.
There's a tartness coming in. I can't pick what it is yet, but there is a tartness there. Like a green apple.
Yeah.
Like a Granny Smith apple skin.
Sort of a cooked green apple skin.
Lingering on my hard palate is where that flavor is sitting for me at the moment. Mixing with the white pepper.
Really nice, actually. Really nice. Didn't expect that this far down.
No. Good technical question here from Stuart. When do you purge?
I don't know if you saw, but when my ash dropped that last time, I gave it a little bit of a purge. Omar likes to purge all the time. He's a bit of a purge fanboy.
At least
I probably purge end of the first third, end of the second third, and then maybe once or twice in the final third.
The short answer of purging is that when you feel like it, there's going to be, you're the one smoking a cigar and you feel that you're in control. It's like how often you break, depending on where you are. You feel like that needs a break, you break.
Yeah. I actually, by the time it's getting down to this sort of business end, I'm actually just doing a very slight, very brief and very low pressure. Like you're not pushing air through, but I do it before almost every puff at this point in a cigar.
Yeah. Almost.
It's just
also if I notice my cigar is not burning quite right, I'll give it a little purge then as well.
Yeah.
Just to try and fire up the cherry and get it burning a bit better.
Yeah. It can definitely help if you're getting a bit of a wonky burn. That's one of the techniques that can help to correct it. But I'll literally this is all it is. If you saw that little tiny puff of smoke that came out just before I drew, it's just a little tiny half breath, not even a half, it's a cheek full of air. If you're getting a real sharp bitterness, you just might want to check and make sure that you don't have any sort of a tar coming out around the mouth there. Mine's clean, mine's fine. But if there's a really strong, sort of really unpleasant bitterness, particularly if you start to get like a burnt rubber, that's a real telltale sign that you're getting some tar, and that's usually a sign that you just need to recut it. But at this stage of a cigar, it's a bit hard to recut.
Getting a little bit hot to hold.
Yeah, I'm just spiking mine.
Actually, that's a good idea. I might do the same while I've still got something to spike.
Yeah, mine's actually getting quite soft. Well, and a split is just beginning to form, so I don't know how much longer I've got left with this before it all comes to pieces. Talk about a trouble-free stick, though.
Yeah.
Burned beautifully.
I don't think I've ever had an Ave Maria Immaculata ever give me burn problems.
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, Omar had some damage when he started. You had a split form. My burn got wonky at one point, but in every case, it just smoked right through it.
Yeah.
What are we up to? About an hour 30 on this, is it?
Yeah, hour 30, hour 35, yeah. The way Stuart's going is going to be all night.
Well, that means we can't have Stuart on the show ever.
No. I can't put up with you guys for that long. That's you ever heard of oversharing, Stuart? We didn't want to know that you had PMS. Okay, it's just we didn't need to know. Not sure what the L was about, but PMS.
So, did you end up getting the house you're after? Yep. Oh, that's right. You're going to rent it.
Yeah, we got it. All the paperwork getting sorted, and it's going to be good.
You got the first right of refusal on sale of the property in the rental terms.
Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah, so we've got the option to buy at the end. Obviously, we still got to agree on a price depending on what the market does between now and then. Blah blah blah. It's not a done deal, but we're first cab off the rank.
Excellent. My goodness, I have lost count of how many rings are in that cigar.
You gave me a good one. That is for sure.
I think I've outdone myself. I honestly don't think I'll ever be able to give you a cigar with that many rings in it ever again.
Yeah, probably true. I've had a theory for a while that the narrower ring gauges tend to give you more rings. I think it's for me anyway, because I don't really have a lot of control over whether I get them or not. And so something like a torpedo where the mouth is actually narrower, I think, leads to more. Getting sharper.
Almost like the white rind on watermelon, then that apple has gone more like that sort of, that almost tasteless, slightly sweet bit of the watermelon, the white bit.
Mine's got more, there's more body to the sharpness than that. This is a bitter lettuce. You got those bitter sort of lettuce leaves. That's where I'm at with this. I have no idea what this comment means. I don't have any cigar tonight, but at least I know what I'm getting with Tim Tams. You lost me there, Tim. You sure about that, Stuart?
Hey.
What is he, Stuart?
Some chocolate coming through.
Chocolate.
Oh, I see. Right. I know what I'm getting with Tim Tams. I know what flavors I'm going to get with Tim Tams. Gotcha. Okay. You might as well flatter yourself, Stuart. None of the rest of us are going to do it. A little bit of nicotine. Just a nice...
I don't know what he's talking about, Omar. Do you?
Newbies,
See.
that's what you have to be tolerant of.
Some of us are we're still in touch with our sensitive side. We can detect things like nicotine.
Yeah,
We haven't just hardened ourselves off to the world.
very sensitive side.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost borderline in the other side.
I think I might almost be at the end of this.
Yeah, pretty close. Still burning with absolute perfection all the way down.
Yep.
Hour 40.
Solid hour 40. Yep.
Easily, yeah.
3 hours. Stuart. I'm thinking this is where it's turning on me now. Getting a bit rough.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to join you. Put mine down.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Omar? You still got half a stick left there.
More than half a stick.
He has been smoking 2 cigars, so.
Yeah, and he's just desperate to start his next one. So, at this point, this one's just in the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Step at a time.
Well, I tell you what, I'm glad we did that. That was great.
Yeah, it was great.
I'll have to get one. I'll have to get another one of those, not from Damo's Tender Loving Care, to remind myself of what the blend actually tastes like without the benefit of all of the mixing. Yeah. It'd be quite an interesting experiment, I think. Damo, do you remember off the top of your head what we have next week?
It's the Southern Draw. It's the Barber Pole one.
The Barber Pole. Okay, very good.
Is that the
Southern Draw Florida White Lancero, 7.5 by 40.
Yeah.
We'll have to dust off episode 2 where we were smoking the Oliva V Lancero.
Yeah.
Go through the breathing tips.
Yep.
Very good. Well, gentlemen,
Stuart won't have any trouble with that.
No, Stuart won't have any trouble with that. He'll be there until dawn with that one.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, it's a pleasure as always. We'll see you next week for what will be week 10 of pack number 9 of the Cigar Professor. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Weeks go quick.
They do. Thank you for joining in all the insults back and forth. It's been a lot of fun.